What is up, everyone? Did you see what happened on Capitol Hill? Did you see the epic meltdown that happened on Capitol Hill? There was an epic fight that happened with this guy over here, Mr. Clean Shaven. Shout out to the homie for his hair. His hair is all done. This is Congressman Pat Fallon from Texas, and he got into it with this gentleman over here, and you got to see this. This is just wild. He got into it with this gentleman. Go to it real quick here. He got into it with this guy over here. Let me find it real quick here. This is... This guy right here. This is Ronald Rowe. And they got into like an epic like fight. Like crazy fight. Bananas. And screaming match on Capitol Hill. It was just complete nonsense. I've seen some really heated, like the Boeing CEO was on there. I saw him get grilled pretty hard. Mark Zuckerberg got grilled pretty hard. But I have never seen where they just annihilate. I mean, these guys went at it. And for those who don't know, like, what's going on, this whole thing started because there was a situation that happened. And what happened was earlier this summer, President-elect Trump was at a rally in Pennsylvania and almost got assassinated. It was an attempted assassination on his life. And so this is the interim director of the Secret Service right here, Ronald Rowe. He's being interrogated by the congressman, and they get in a really like crazy heat exchange. We're just gonna jump into this because this is just beyond wild and beyond crazy. So let me just set the context for you. He's at a hearing. This is a committee. They're asking questions. What happened? Like, why in the world did this happen? Why in the world was not there wasn't detail? Why in the world was this guy allowed on the roof? What was the breakdown in the Secret Service operations to allow the president-elect now, was President Trump, who's running, to get almost assassinated, which is bananas, which is crazy. Let's get into it right now and I'll set up for you real quick and get into it because this is just wild.
Service not only failed President Trump, but Corey Comparatori and the American people in historic fashion.
I would.
In the months leading up to July 13th, who was the director of the Secret Service?
Kimberly Cheadle.
Okay. Other than former...
Okay, Kimberly Cheadle is this chick that was the head of Secret Service, and she was the head, the head of Secret Service. She got grilled right after the assassination, and the next day she gave her resignation. The lady made $280,000 a year. I thought Secret Service she'd be making like in the 3s or 4s, but she's making $280,000 a year. They just annihilated her. She was less combative. This guy is the interim director. Just does not. He's very combative, very hot-headed. You can tell he's that guy. But let's just keep going here along and see what happens.
Director Cheadle, who was the most senior Secret Service agent?
In the agency? Mm-hmm. That would be me. I was
Correct.
the deputy director.
In the months leading up to the July of 24, were you made aware of a highly credible...
Is this dude wearing hair plugs? like, is he wearing hair plugs? I mean, that shirt is like pressed Egyptian cotton. The tie's done. The hair's dyed. I mean, he looks like this is his moment. He flexing on this one. This guy knows he's gonna. I think it's twofold. He's gonna light this guy on fire because he's pissed. But then I also think he's gonna he's trying to get his 5 minutes of fame too.
Highly credible intelligence that a serious and grave threat to President Trump's life. From an adversarial nation state, there was a very serious threat.
In this open setting, Congressman, I can't discuss what I was or was not aware of.
Well, the former Director Cheadle said she was aware. So I would imagine, by extension, you were aware.
You
said in open session that...
I would point to Director Cheadle's...
All right, so you were aware. So we have a unique circumstance here because we had a former president of the United States who is the leading candidate at that time to be the next president of the United States, and he will be now that we know. And he was being threatened by a foreign nefarious nation state because of actions he took while he was president of the United States. Very unique circumstances.
So he's going to keep grilling him here. I want to jump ahead really quick here because he just brings up more stuff.
At that time, he was not.
He was not. Would you agree that if there was a counter-surveillance unit there in Butler on the 13th, he would have been safer?
I think if there was a counter-surveillance unit advanced that was on the ground, it could have aided the advance team in identifying the AGR.
So he would have been safer. President Trump
yes,
would have been safer. Yeah, okay. I don't think this would have even occurred, but be that as it may, did the president's detail request a CSU, to your knowledge?
I'm not aware of a request for CSU.
Now, was the threat from the nefarious nation state disseminated to agents in the field and in the protective details?
I'm just pausing, Congressman, because I'm trying to walk a tightrope here. And
So they're cool. Pleasantries. He's trying to get facts. Like, hey, did you have detail? Did the president, did he request detail? No, he did not. He's like, we're very respectful. Hey, I don't want to talk, say too much. I'm walking a tight line here. I don't want to disclose, I don't want to disclose, really, important stuff I shouldn't disclose. It could be classified about the Secret Service. But so I think he's trying to work. He's saying, sir, try to walk through it. But let's see the rest of this, because this is where the gloves come off here in about a few minutes.
in an open setting. What I can tell you is that the Secret Service provided assets on that day for a particular...
What I can tell you, sir, is that the folks that are whistleblowing and informing some members of Congress say that they were not aware of this threat. And that's what I'm getting at with being proactive and showing leadership is we know for a fact that there was no CSU in Butler. Was there a full CAT team there?
There was not.
No. A full CAT team, 6 members, and there were 2 there. So you knew the...
So here's the thing. I don't know a lot about the Secret Service or not, but, it's President Trump. He's not reelected at the time. He's campaigning, right? He's campaigning. He's not elected. So I don't know where the rules and where the liability falls in the government if you're on the campaign trail, right, and you're not elected yet, and you're running for office as a president of the United States. Do you get a detail? Do you get, you get Secret Service. You had it with them, but how much do you get? You're doing a lot of these, hit the road and town halls and rallies. Are you kind of on your own and you have a little Secret Service? So I wonder how much liability really, the onus is really on, you're putting this all on the Secret Service. He wasn't even elected president at the time. But this is interesting. So we'll just keep watching this. This is just, it's very telling, very interesting.
The threat. You didn't disseminate to the field and protective details. President Trump didn't have a protection that was akin to a sitting president. He didn't have the CSU. He had only the third of the CAT team. So that's that kind of ineptitude and inaction.
Well, and here's another thing. He wasn't a sitting president. So he's, again, put in the comments if you guys know, but correct me if I'm wrong, but he wasn't a sitting president. He wasn't president-elect at the time, and he was a former president running again, but he wasn't currently a president. So why would he have all that security there with them like he would as a regular president? I don't know. Let's keep going.
And complacency and neglect that really, quite frankly, is as telling as it is chilling. And had it not been for a very blessed, fortuitous, and a happenstance of a perfectly timed turn of a head, President Trump would have lost his life that day. This is another thing that concerns me. We report to our constituents. And instead of after this happened, did you go the next day to Butler, Pennsylvania?
So what Pat does here is Congressman Fallon starts to grill him on the fact that, hey, you know what? Did you go? And you'll hear him say, the FBI went the next day. Where were you? You weren't even present there. You didn't go to the scene. You went 9 days later. He starts to put a timeline together about what his responsibility was. And often so, if you're a leader, you have teams underneath you to do it. I don't know why he would expect him to go. And he wasn't even acting, he wasn't the director of the Secret Service. It was a Kimberly Cheadle girl. So why in the world is he expecting him to go down there? But the FBI guy went. So this is where things start getting really kind of heated, kind of interesting. And I'll play it here, and so you can see as it unfolds.
Pennsylvania on the 14th of July?
I did not.
Okay. Did you go that week?
I did not.
The FBI held that site secure for 5 days as an active crime scene, and they released it back to the owners on the 18th, and you did not visit. And when did you finally visit the site?
I visited about a day after I was appointed.
So July 24th? Cheadle came in July 24th.
So he said, I went to visit a day after I was appointed the interim director of the Secret Service. That's when he decided to go down there.
22nd, she got skewered and roasted by the Democrats and Republicans on the Oversight Committee, of which I sit on. She resigned the next day, and then only that day did you go.
I'll take your word for it, Congressman.
Why'd you wait 9 days? 11 days?
Why did I wait 9 days?
Yeah. Director of the FBI went to the site. Why didn't you go?
Congressman, I think I was appointed July 20th.
See, it's another thing, too. He said, well, the director of the FBI went, you didn't go. He wasn't the head of the Secret Service at the time. So let's keep going.
23rd, and I was there on the 24th or 25th.
But you were the second most senior member of the Secret Service. You could have gone.
And I was managing from here the crisis. We actually
Okay, so you didn't go.
dispatched.
Got it. Did you call the, you were managing the crisis you just said. Did you call the detail that night on July 13th that was protecting President Trump?
On that night, they were operational, sir.
You did not. Okay. Did
I
you call
not.
him the next day?
No, I did not.
Okay. When did you finally talk to him?
I spoke to them when they arrived in Milwaukee.
So 4 days later, July 17th, does that sound about right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you waited 4 days. And when we were talking earlier, a couple months ago, this is an epic failure. We all agree on that. And instead of really focusing on the egregious errors and correct.
So he's grilling more. Now let's just kind of go a little bit ahead because this is when things start getting interesting.
So we have to say,
Look, dude, what? Did he play Division I football? Look at this ring on homie, dude. Shout out to the homie again. He got a ring on. That looks like a Division I football ring. I'd be interested to know if this guy was like a football guy or something. Let's keep going.
to say, hey, this federal agency failed epically, and then they wanted to almost double their budget. How much would it have cost to put somebody on that water tower? How much would it have cost to have drones
So listen when he starts unpacking stuff. How much would it cost to put someone in the water tower? How much, he starts putting some things together.
that were actually functioning that day? How much would it have taken to where your anti-drone technology would work? How much would it have cost to do a walkthrough with local law enforcement to secure the AGR site?
Yeah.
Or put cameras on that roof? Or put agents on that roof? Or have your snipers have...
Now, listen, I'll tell you right now, listen, voted for Trump, didn't vote for Trump. I'm not going to get into my political ass, who I voted for or not. Love or hate the guy. I don't want to see any American president assassinated or lose their life or get hurt. That's not okay. So just putting it out there right now. So the fact that happened is unfortunate.
iPads, or have one command post instead of two, or cordon off the damn AGR complex, 17 acres. That would have cost $2 billion. And in fact, with caution tape signs, posts, and stakes, it would have run about $410 because we ran through it. Let's add it down to zero. Say it's $4 grand. It's not $2 billion.
This dude, this guy, I mean, he was ready for his moment in the sun. This guy had a board ready. $410 was going to be the cost for them to secure that rally. And he had it ready. The assistant put up on an easel. The easel's all crooked. It's not even balanced. I mean, this guy is ready for his moment in the sun. I'm not saying what he's saying is wrong. I'm just saying guns blazing. Guns blazing.
So I got another question for you. Do you recognize this photo?
Here's when stuff started hitting the fan right here. Watch this. Watch this.
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay. Was that the remembrance of September 11th?
It was.
Was it in New York?
It was at Ground Zero.
Okay. Who's usually at an event like this closest to the President of the United States, security-wise?
The sack of the detail.
Special agent in charge of the detail. Were you the special agent in charge of the detail that day?
Actually, let me address this. Could you please, staff, leave that? Oh, no, leave that one up with the...
So he's gonna try to break down and explain what's going on behind the scenes. But Pat doesn't have the hook, and this is where they go to blows. Verbal screaming match. This is crazy.
Circle around me. Thank you. So actually, Congressman, what you're not seeing is the sack of the detail out of the picture's view. And that is the day where we remember the more than 3,000 people that have died on 9/11. I actually responded to Ground Zero. I was there going through the ashes of the World Trade Center. Mm-hmm. I was there at Fresh Kills.
So now this guy just, instead of answering the question, I mean, he just goes in. He's like, this is 9/11, and then he can tell he's just pissed. This guy's a little bit of a hothead, and he can tell he's done being looked crazy at. So let's go back.
Ground Zero. I was there going through the ashes of the World Trade Center. Mm-hmm. I was there at Fresh Kills.
I'm not asking you that. I'm asking you,
Congressman.
Were you the special agent in charge?
To show respect for a Secret Service member that died on 9/11.
Oh, that you're trying to be.
Do not invoke 9/11 for political purposes.
Oh, that not.
Oh my goodness! Do not invoke 9/11 for political purposes. I mean, this is wild. Let's watch that again.
9/11.
Oh, that you're trying to be.
Do not service member that died on 9/11.
Were you the special agent in charge?
Center. Mm-hmm. I was there at Fresh Kills.
I'm not asking you that. I'm asking you,
Congressman.
were you the special agent in charge?
To show respect for a Secret Service member that died on 9/11.
Oh, that you're trying to be.
Do not invoke 9/11 for political purposes.
Oh, I'm not. I'm invoking this.
You are, sir. And you are out of line.
I would like to ask him a question. Please.
You are out of line,
Congressman. Don't try to bully me. I am an elected member of Congress, and I'm asking you a serious question, and you are
I
playing
am a public
politics.
servant who has served this nation and
You
spent
won't answer
time
the question.
on our country's darkest
Mr.
day.
Chairman,
Committee
you
will
not
come
answer
to
Do not
order.
politicize it.
Committee will come to
I'm
order.
asking you serious questions for the American people, and they're very simple. They're not trick questions.
Oh my goodness! Don't you He's like, you're trying to politicize this, and I mean, it was crazy. But watch Pat Fallon, because he's going to go in on this guy and make a point here what he thinks really his hidden agenda was in this. Watch this. This is wild. This is wild. Oh my word!
American people, and they're very simple. They're not trick questions. Were you the special agent in charge that
No, I
day?
wasn't. I was there
Oh, no,
representing
Mr.
the
Chairman,
United States
There he is, right there.
Just
Secret
asking you yes or
Service,
no.
sir.
Mr. Fallon, your
It
time's
did not
expired.
affect protective
Fallon,
Well,
operations.
why you were
time's
there?
expired.
Because you wanted to be visible, because you are auditioning for this
I was
job.
there to
that
pay
you're not gonna
respect for a
get
fallen
till
member of
January
this
20th.
agency.
You endangered
You are
President
out of line,
Biden's life,
Congressman.
Vice
You are
President
out of
Harris's
line.
life, because you put those agents out of position.
Mr.
Did you have a
Chairman.
radio with
Mr.
you?
Fallon,
Did
your
you wear a
time
vest?
has
Did you have a
expired.
weapon?
Mr.
No.
I did, sir, and you are out of line.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Please.
All right. And we are back
You're
in
a
order
bully.
now. We are back in order now.
Thank you.
Mr. Moskowitz, you are now recognized for 5 minutes.
Holy cow! Holy cow! We got to play it back, because he starts saying some stuff. You got to catch it, because he starts saying things like, "You were there trying to audition." Is that what he said? You were trying to audition for the job or something? Hold up. Let me play it back. This is crazy. You were there because you were trying to audition. Basically trying to flex, I guess.
And Vice President
You are out of
Harris's
line.
life, because you put those agents out of position.
Mr.
Did you have a
Chairman.
radio with
Mr.
you?
Fallon,
Did
your
you wear a
time
vest?
has
Did you have a
expired.
weapon?
Mr.
No.
I did, sir, and you are out of line.
Mr. Chairman.
No.
Sir.
Mr. Fallon, your
It
time's
did not
expired.
affect protective
Fallon,
operations.
Order.
I'm asking you serious questions for the American people, and they're very simple. They're not trick questions.
Okay, here we
Were
go.
you the special agent in charge that
No,
day?
I wasn't. I was there
Oh, no,
representing
Mr.
the
Chairman,
United
I'm
States
just asking
Secret
you yes or
Service,
no.
sir.
Mr. Fallon, your
It
time's
did not
expired.
affect protective
Fallon,
Well,
operations.
why you were
time's
there?
expired.
Because you wanted to be visible.
Okay, here it is. You know why are you there? Because you want to be visible. And I guess what he was saying is, you wanted to be there, you wanted to be visible, you wanted to be next to the president, you wanted to audition for the job. That's why you were standing up there. Your agents were out of sight. You wanted to be the guy because you wanted to flex and you wanted to be the one shown. I think that's what he was saying. Let's just watch this again. This is wild and crazy.
Were you the special agent in charge that
No, I
day?
wasn't. I was there
Oh, no,
representing
Mr.
the
Chairman,
United
I'm
States
just
Secret
asking you yes or
Service,
no.
sir.
Mr. Fallon, your
It
time's
did not
expired.
affect protective
Fallon,
Well,
operations.
why
your
you were
time's
there?
expired.
Because you wanted to be visible, because you were auditioning for this
I was
job.
there to
that
pay
you're not gonna
respect for a
get
fallen
till
member of
January
this
20th.
agency.
You endangered
You are
President
out of line,
Biden's life,
Congressman.
Vice President
You are out of
Harris's
line.
life, because you put those agents out of position.
Mr.
Did you have a
Chairman.
radio with
Mr.
you?
Fallon,
Did
your
you wear a
time
vest?
has
Okay, you already said you put the agents out of position because you wanted to audition for the job. So what he was kind of alluding to was, listen, you put him out of position because you wanted to be shown, you wanted to be the guy, you wanted to be the one next up, you wanted to audition, he said, and in doing so, you put the president's life at danger, Vice President Harris and everyone else. That is just wild. And it's an interesting assumption. Is he right? It's just crazy.
Protective
Fallon,
Well,
operations.
why you were
time's
there?
expired.
Because you wanted to be visible, because you were auditioning for this
I was
job.
there to
that
pay
you're not gonna
respect for a
get
fallen
till
member of
January
this
20th.
agency.
You endangered
You are
President
out of line,
Biden's life,
Congressman.
Vice President
You are out of
Harris's
line.
life, because you put those agents out of position.
Mr.
Did you have a
Chairman.
radio with
Mr.
you?
Fallon,
Did you
your
wear a
time
vest?
has
Did you have a
expired.
weapon?
God, do you have a radio with you? Did you do this? You were out of line. Oh my goodness.
You put those agents out of position.
Mr.
Did you have a
Chairman.
radio with
Mr.
you?
Fallon,
Did you
your
wear a
time
vest?
has
Did you have a
expired.
weapon?
Mr.
No.
I did, sir, and you are out of line.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Please.
All right. And we are back
You're
in
a
order
bully.
now. We are back in order now.
Wow.
Thank you.
Wow.
Mr. Moskowitz, you are now recognized for 5 minutes.
Wow. That is bananas. So, I've never seen a fight that intense on Capitol Hill. This happened a few days ago. And listen, there's some valid points made on both ends, and you got to take into consideration. I don't know these gentlemen, but when I first saw it, and the guy in the white shirt annoyed me because I felt like he's trying to flex. He's wearing the white shirt. He got the hair plugs. No one talks to me that way. But as I started listening to some things he was saying, asking these pertinent questions, where was the detail? Why did you go visit? And he brings up this reference of 9/11 anniversary that supposedly happened, and he was front and center, while the agents were whatever. But we don't really know what happened, right? He doesn't work in the Secret Service, so those agents might be patrolling and be on some kind of tell and looking at other things, not being front and center. But why were you front and center? Because you want to audition. So it's a lot of little weird political stuff, a lot of little, listen, this guy had an axe to grind. Pat Fallon, the congressman, definitely. And unfortunately, love or hate this Ronald Rowe guy. I mean, he took the heat, took the fall for it, right? Larry resigns. He's now acting director of the Secret Service, and he took the heat. But this exchange is crazy because most people in situations like that will just take it. They'll just take it and just take it on the chin and just, can't recall and use all the nice words. This guy is like, you're not going to talk to me crazy. I'm going to bounce back. I'm going to fight back. I'm going to punch back. He definitely pushed back. What do you think in the comments? Was he right for pushing back? Was the congressman right for doing what he did? I want to hear in the comments. Comment below. Anthony Unscripted. Peace.
Thank you.